Hey everybody, it's AJ again. This is the Polaris 2019 Switchback Assault A50 in black on black on black on black on black. I did the test ride, or the shakedown at the end of the year on the backcountry XRS, and I'm doing it on this one as well. I put in time on both of these sleds quite a bit. This one has 1,000 and some odd miles on it, so we got a good little bit of running. Let me see, 1,079 miles. So this thing has just over 1,700 kilometers on it and almost 1,100 miles. Crazy impressed with this sled. It continues to deliver just like it's done since they first brought it out. There's absolutely nothing on this snowmobile that I would change. And that's hard for me to say, because I can come up with some stuff, some pretty finicky and, you know, small goofy stuff that I would change, but there's nothing on this thing that I would change. Honestly, this sled works great. Rear suspension is the best 50/50 crossover sled in the business. The motor is super strong. The 144, length does everything that it's supposed to. The lug on this sled, I believe this is the 175 or the 2-inch. I apologize, I can't remember which one that is. I think that's the 2-inch. No, that's the 175, isn't it? Yeah, it's the 175. Anyways, no issues with the track on it. No chunking, no wear. Rails and markings, everything's good down there. We didn't have any paint chipping. Spindles look really good. No chips or marks or issues. Still has the stock carbides on it. Because this thing is like the blacked out edition. We could call it murdered, but yeah, I just can't use that. It's definitely not showing any, two-stroke typical black stuff, but it's probably on there. It's just hidden. It's a super nice graphics package. You know, it's kind of like that. Everything's hidden on it. It just sort of shows up. Actually, it's kind of like our local undercover police cars. They look almost exactly like that. Not that I want to reference this to a cop car, but yeah, it kind of looks like that. Walker Evans shocks, these work really good. They're great. They do everything they're supposed to. You've got the right amount of adjustment. We don't have rebound on these. If you buy the Skidoo XRS, you will get rebound. Do I think these work as good? Yes, the front end on this actually works better than the Skidoo. Are the shocks as good? No, these walkers are not as good as the Skidoo XRS shocks, in my opinion. Those KYBs are better. They give you more adjustment. I believe the shock shaft diameter on these is just a little bit beefier than the Skidoos. That being said, I think the Skidoo KYBs are a little bit higher quality shock, but this front end works better. Other cool thing, getting the panels and the hood off of a sled is super easy. You got 1, 2, 3, and you are done. That panel comes off, the other side's exactly the same. Then you got 2 little Zeus fasteners and 1 plug under the hood, and everything is taken apart. I like that on this sled. Really like that, because if you're out there and something does go wrong, you need to change a belt, whatever it is. Because I mean, when you're riding these types of sleds, you haul on them pretty good. We haven't blown a belt on this sled this season, so 1,100 miles almost, and no belt issues. Everything was good. But if you do have to change a belt, there's nothing wrong with having some space. And if you got to get under the hood, if you're putting a pipe on the thing or an exhaust, obviously you're not in Ontario, you're in another province or state. I know I'm a terrible person because I just said exhaust, but people do it. Let's all live with that. Let's be big boys and girls and realize that not everybody lives in Ontario. But if you do put a pipe on it, super easy to get to the pipe. Super easy to do the whole 9 yards, whole install. You want to put a clutch kit on it, really easy. Anything under the hood, super easy to do. You want to wire some new lights in or whatever, easy to do. It comes with storage. I like that. That is smart. There's a little trunk up here too. It's heated. You can put a set of goggles in there. I like the storage on this thing. Why don't we put storage bags on all of the other models that are competitive to this? The XRS backcountry that I just did I did a walk around on earlier. I just don't get why they don't put a tunnel bag on the back. Something. It's a premium sled. The XRS MXZ as well, 600. There's no storage on those sleds. This one comes with it. I know it's snow check and all, but XRSs are snow check or spring check, whatever you want to call it, spring fever. They're all the same thing. I think for the price and what you're paying for these things, they should come with a pick and little bag, like something you can put a couple bottles of water and, I don't know, your liner for your jacket if you get overheated when you're out ripping. Maybe I'm crazy, but I know that it's because they're selling stuff in the showrooms and because they want a little bit more, but I like the fact that Polaris includes that from the factory. Sure, it's not a huge amount of space, but you can fit some stuff in here. I don't know what's in here. Looks like there was Hershey's something. Reese's Pieces or something. But like I can get my arm all the way up to my elbow. There is a belt in there. So to me, I don't know. It gives you a whole bunch of options for taking stuff with you. You could definitely fit an extra light jacket. You could fit a couple pair of goggles. You could fit an extra pair of gloves. I mean, for a guy, we could probably do an overnight trip with just that bag. There is some space for the tunnel bag, obviously. You can put one of those on there. But yeah, there's my complaint for other manufacturers not including bags. But I'm glad that Polaris does. It's smart. It's what you need to do. And for a big ticket item like this, I think it's expected. Like I said, track wore really good this season for 1,100 miles. There's no issues, no chunking. Same thing as some of the other sleds. A little bit of fraying on the outside of the track. Not a big deal. Take your blowtorch, clean that up. The inside, though, definitely shows quite a bit of fraying, but I mean that's typical too. So get the blowtorch out, clean it up. Rear skid in this sled, flawless, works great. Don't change the Polaris. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys own this category. This sled is so good in the rear end on the trails. It just works incredibly good. The rest of the industry went to 146 this season. Polaris is staying at 144. Why the heck would they change it? Works so good. Small things I like. When you're out riding this sled, you do get stuck because we go places that, you know, where we try to get stuck, and having this little lip on the snow flap. I know it's small stuff, but it's really flipping handy. You get your hand in here, and when the thing gets completely tracked out, you can bend that snow flap all the way up in the snow, and your hand still goes in there no problem. In fact, two hands do, because typically when we get stuck, we get real stuck, and you need, you know, at least two hands, or yours and somebody else helping you lift. What else can I tell you? GPS gauge. This is the coolest gauge in the industry. Works the best. Does everything you want it to. Yeah, I like this one a whole lot. Sometimes, well, I guess I could complain a little bit about it. It is a little slow, but it's not awful. And let's be honest, it's doing a whole lot, so I'm not too upset. But yeah, you can see some of our tracks on there, and see, like I've zoomed out 1, 2, 3 times, and it just takes a little bit. It's not awful, but when you're riding down the trail, it would be nice if it just responded a little bit quicker. Not the end of the world, but it is what it is. Anyways, it gives you lots of information. Get all your diagnostics, you know, phone if you want to be let known that you got a call or a text message coming in, and then your main, which is really easy to follow when it doesn't take a while to get there. Hold on. There we go. You can scroll through all your different settings. You can do it from the handlebars now too. So, you know, from the green button, I can adjust all the different settings on there. Go through my battery, engine temp. Down below, we got our mileage for trip 1, trip 2, engine hours if it was on, average mile per hour, max mile per hour, and your odometer. Gives you all the other stuff, you know, your fuel readout and whatnot. Works really good. So anyways, I'm happy with that. The headlight, LED headlight, best in the business. Illuminates the best, gives you the best low light riding light. Yeah, works really good. If you put a set of those handguards on with their LED lights on them, yeah, the thing is like it's like you got a light bar on it. Yeah, anyways, I don't know what else to tell you. We've been happy with this. If you're looking for a used sled, or you're considering buying one of these used next season, don't hesitate. They are great. I got nothing to tell you about issues with them. No problems that came up. Sure, I know that the 850 had a couple issues early on. There were a few that they pulled back and rebuilt for people. And the cool thing was they gave everybody who, I mean, you only had to go back to the dealership for like a week. They got parts, fixed it, put it back on the snow. But they gave you a full extra year warranty. So you got a 5-year warranty instead of the 4-year warranty that comes on the 850. Other good thing about this sled, for those who do own it, or for maybe not so much for people who are looking for one. 850 was only SnowTrax, so used ones are going to be hard to come by, or they're going to have a premium on them if they do, because if you didn't SnowTrax one for this coming season, you didn't get one. And so I think that that's going to be a benefit for people who own 850s. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's an Assault or a, you know, XCR or whatever, Indy XC. I think that's going to be a big benefit, and it's going to pay back for you guys, you know, when you go to sell these next year. Plus, if you're going to hold on to it for a couple of years, you got a 4-year motor warranty unless you had a motor issue, which you have 5, fully transferable. To me, that's huge, especially in the used category, especially when it comes to a 2-stroke, because people are always wanting to gripe and complain about, oh, 2-strokes aren't reliable, which they are really reliable nowadays. They're almost 4-stroke reliable, but everybody wants to complain about it because we all lived in the 80s and 90s and had issues with 2-strokes. But the fact that you can sell this thing to a buddy, you can ride it for 2 years, sell it to a buddy with 2 years warranty still, or you can ride it for 3 years and sell it with a 1-year warranty. I mean, that's huge to me. It's going to keep value a lot better than other sleds, and because it's only spring check, you're going to be harder pressed to find an 850 if you want one used. But if you do find one of these used, Switchback Assault is probably the sled that I would go out and buy if I didn't have a whole bunch of sleds to pick from in the wintertime and got to do this awesome job that I have. This would be the sled that I would have in my garage. And there's a long list of people who will stand behind me on that one. So yeah, if you want to duke it out, I'll go round for round with you on that, because this sled is definitely a beast. Works great, does everything it's supposed to. Polaris has absolutely knocked it out of the park since they started building the Switchback Assault. It's been a really incredible snowmobile. And I know that I sound like I'm bubbling over with Polaris praise, but if you haven't spent time on this sled, just don't say anything, because you're going to make a fool out of yourself. If you have spent time on this sled, you know what I'm talking about. Really, really good snowmobile. If you're just a trail cruiser and you don't go off trail, well, don't comment about it, because you have no opinion. That's not what the snowmobile's for. But if you run 50-50 on trail, off trail, you want to get out and have some fun, you know, you're ripping down the trail, you come to a hydro line or a power line cut, and you know it's zigzagging back and forth across the trail, and you want to go from point A to point B, you know, as the crow flies instead of the trail route. This sled 10 times out of 10 will be the one that I pick first. It's a really good snowmobile, works flawless, and yeah, hey, I don't bleed any specific color, but when it comes to on trail, off trail riding, I probably bleed Assault. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, comment below, like our page if you haven't, subscribe, check out our Facebook, you know, go over to our Instagram. We're doing all kinds of stuff. We're going to try to do these shakedown videos every single season for you guys. We do the walkarounds when we first see these sleds show up. We do the full test rides in season, and then at the end we're going to do the shakedowns and tell you kind of the highs and lows and things that we found positive, negative, we might want to change, whatever, what have you. And for this season, yeah, I don't think there's a single thing that I would change about this sled. So maybe make that gauge package respond a little quicker, but other than that, there's not a whole lot. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next season.
If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, like it and then subscribe to our page for more great content from SnowTrax TV.